Welcome to Defining Dad Bod, where my dad, Coach Alex VanHouten, posts his 14 years of experience to work for you. You should listen to him. Here's pretty beast mode. Who knows who we could be if we could become 1% better every single day.
Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for joining us here at Defining Dad Bod. I'm Coach Alex VanHouten, and I'm very thankful for you and for the opportunity to cut through the garbage of the health and fitness industry in this show, Defining Dad Bod. Here in November 2020, 3 years after I started the show, we've come to a crossroads, and I'm excited about the road less traveled by. Let me give you some backstory. I started the Defining Dad Bod podcast in November of 2017, exactly 3 years ago. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that what I was wrestling with as a new dad is something I know that not many other fellas understood well. And I found it was very nice to be able to answer somebody's great question with, "Hey, I've actually written an article on that subject. I think you'd find it helpful. Let me shoot you a link, and then you can get back to me with questions." So I had a great idea. Why couldn't I do that with a podcast? Like, why couldn't I answer questions about health and fitness in a way that was very scientific and practical, so that when people asked, I could say, "Hey, here's my show on that subject. Listen during your cardio, or during your chores, or during your commute, and let me know if you have questions." So I bought a cheap mic from Best Buy, I watched a few YouTube videos, and I downloaded Audacity. My wife tried really hard to keep the house quiet for an hour at a time while I recorded my first episodes. It was super weird talking to myself in my office. I was used to speaking in front of people. So no joke, I printed out a picture of somebody in my life that I thought represented my target audience. He was a friend of mine who was a new dad. His picture looked exhausted, balancing new fatherhood and work, and I know that he was finding his body slowly getting more and more out of shape as he felt more and more lost during a time in his life when he thought that he was supposed to be feeling the pinnacles of joy, strength, and purpose. So in my first shows, I spoke directly to him, and I was very bad at it. I ummed and awed and sniffed and ugged all the way through my first episodes. And then I went to Starbucks on my lunch breaks from my real job so that I could edit my sound bites. I got decent at the process pretty rapidly and then encountered another obstacle. This was going to cost some money. Between the podcasting platform, the website, the time, and the various nickel and dime expenses that arose weekly, I realized that if I was going to do this journey any justice, I was going to need to invest. But investment models in fitness were one of the things that was wrong with the fitness industry. I didn't want to present scientific advice and practical know-how while also begging you, my audience, to buy the supplement that a company who sponsored my show wanted you to buy. I hate being sold to, and I know most of the parents I talk to also hate being sold to. Personally, I skip all the outside ads that appear in podcasts, even if they're interesting. That's not why I'm tuning into the podcast. So how was I going to fund this thing? I didn't want to charge for something that I meant to be so useful and helpful and good-spirited. So I started a Patreon account. Asked my friends and family if they'd be willing to help me out. $1, $5, $10 a month donations came in, and so did feedback for the show. Within 5 months, I'd funded the first year of expenses for the show, and I was very happy about that. I was at 20 episodes. My audience said that this was very helpful and good, and they wanted more, and the show was growing. I remember having the thought, I can do this. I can help people for free. Then, my real job fired me. Despite receiving accolades and a promotion 2 months prior, my good-natured venture, this Defining Dad Bod podcast, was called a conflict of interest in the fitness space, even though I wasn't charging anybody for access to the show. I had a real problem. I really would do the work that I was doing for people for free if I didn't have to feed my family. So I had to either grow a business or find a job. After 5 months, though, I had momentum around what I was doing at Defining Dad Bod, so I doubled down. Why not be my own boss and see if the market of those seeking health and fitness betterment liked what I came up with? Fast forward 3 years later, hundreds of clients, hundreds of hours of content, thousands of social media followers and podcast subscribers. The community of Defining Dad Bod is thriving. Even through the worst global upset of our lifetime, more people than ever are working towards self-betterment through nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle change. As a human, it's very encouraging to me. And as a business owner, it's very exciting. And I've learned a lot along the way. Here's a few things you might be interested in. First, despite our name, Defining Dad Bod, our listenership, followers, and clients are actually 60-40 men to women. Defining Dad Bod is less about fatherhood and more about encouraging the skills and spirit of becoming 1% better every single day with grounding in cutting-edge sciences of health and fitness. I've also learned that big tech companies like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter are surprisingly frustrating to work with, especially with regard to censorship and distraction. In the time I've been doing this, folks appreciate free stuff, but it's not as impactful to them as the things they choose to pay for. And while I still have a lot to learn about fostering connection and inspiration in the virtual world, it turns out that the listeners of the show find the community of Defining Dad Bod more powerful than our content. Now, with these things in the forefront of my mind, in the world in a revolutionary state of unprecedented change, I've made an important decision about a major aspect of the work we do here at Defining Dad Bod. As of January 1st, I'm moving the community gathering and funding of this show away from social media companies. No, I'm not moving our operation to a combination of Parler, MeWe, and Subscribestar. I've been working to build a platform over the past couple of weeks for a space that integrates all of the benefits of Patreon, Facebook, YouTube, and email lists into one easy place at one low cost. And thanks to the help of Disciple Media, that vision is becoming a reality. Between now and the end of the year, you can click the link in the show notes below to join our new platform called Better Daily. And since we're just starting, the cost is very low. For $10 a month, you can subscribe to be a part of a community who's united, not in the health and fitness challenges of parenthood, but in the pursuit of self-betterment on a daily basis. I expect that the price for newcomers after January 1st will go up, but during the experimental phase of this chapter, while we work out our kinks, I hope you'll consider joining at the discounted rate. And if it goes up, it won't go up on you. In this group, there will be no advertisements, no big tech censorship, no information mining, and no hoops to jump through. Just a vote with your dollars for the high integrity and practical work that we do in the health and fitness space. And not only that, but a space for the community of people who are working hard to better themselves while believing in respectful and positive virtual connections despite our differences. The Better Daily group is the cache for all of our helpful materials in one place. Motivating community health and fitness challenges, easy meal plans, practical nutrition tips and tricks, exercise inspiration, live educational workshops and Q&As, as well as a plethora of other tools, like healthy fridge art, to help you practice your personal betterment daily. While personal nutrition and fitness coaching will always be the bedrock of the business of Defining Dad Bod, it's been my experience that one of the most powerful aspects of a meaningful fitness journey is the support and accountability of those who are similarly dedicated. People who care about what they eat, for pleasure and for health. People who exercise their bodies regularly, for form and for function. People who are always learning in humility and in honesty. And people who aren't perfect, but united in betterment. I'm excited to formally invite you to join us in the Better Daily community. As a founding member, you can enjoy the low price and the opportunity to help us mold this space into the most positive, practical, and inspiring place in virtual health and fitness. Yes, we will keep our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube channels up and running as long as they'll let us. And yes, this podcast will continue, but the really good stuff will be at Better Daily. As of the time of this recording, the group has only been open for 48 hours, and already we have 25 people who have jumped in headfirst to engage with like-minded individuals away from social media. And our first community challenge in the group, the popular and purposeful Faithful 40 Challenge, will kick off this weekend in the group too, so we'll all get acquainted pretty quickly. The link to join the group and the link to register for the Faithful 40 at no extra cost is in the show notes below. I really am so excited to see you there. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and thank you again so much for tuning in, subscribing to, and positively reviewing Defining Dad Bod over the years. And if you're going to jump in the group with us, thank you in advance for engaging in and supporting our new and powerful endeavor at Better Daily. We'll be right back here next week with another awesome and practical episode of the show. This has been Alex VanHouten with Defining Dad Bod. Until next time, guys, Kick butt, take names.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The free, practical advice and conversations here remain unbought and unbiased thanks to the support of listeners just like you. If this episode's been helpful to you, please share it with somebody in your life who you know it will benefit. Then, subscribe to the podcast and leave us a raving review to tell others what value Defining Dad Bod has brought to your health and fitness journey. And finally, if you want more Defining Dad Bod, consider joining our online community. We send a lot of perks and resources your way, and I, Coach Alex, go live every month to talk through our listeners' health and fitness questions to make the practical science of this show applicable to everyday life. Everyone's welcome, and we'd love to have you. For more information about joining the Inner Circle or becoming a supporter of the Defining Dad Bod podcast, go to definingdadbod.com/inner circle. That's definingdadbod.com/inner circle.